Okay, so for today, okay, this is strictly in-class activity. You are going to get it done in class today. Okay, you have no other choice. It is going to get done in class today, so you're going to need to work effectively with the members of your group. Okay, this does work more quickly if you have some people helping you. That's helping you, not distracting you. Okay, we have to make sure we know the difference today. Now, what we are trying to find out here, guys, two things. First thing, what factors affect climate, especially in Canada? Okay. Second thing, we want to get a little bit of experience reading and interpreting climatograms, because that's going to be something we're going to be asked to do on our unit exam. Okay, so those are the two purposes of today's activity. So, our hypothesis, we want to generate a hypothesis that basically talks about what factors affect the climate of an area. Now, quick review. The factors that affect climate we talked about, okay, last week, and they are latitude, altitude, okay, proximity to oceans. Okay, we had mountain barriers. We had centers of high and low pressure. Okay, and we also had ocean currents being somewhat related, okay, to the proximity to oceans. Okay, those are kind of the big ones. So what you need to think about when you're generating your hypothesis is which of those is going to be, or which of those are going to be, let's say, most applicable to Canadian cities in general. All right, so I would say that in the if part of your hypothesis, you should probably list what you think the main factors affecting climate are. I don't say you have to name them all. Okay, you tell me in your hypothesis which ones, let's say the top 3, okay, for you. Maybe the top 4 are going to be most important for influencing the climate of particular cities. Okay, the and part is that we're going to compare, okay, various climatograms and climate conditions of various Canadian cities. Okay, the then part needs to tell me some of the patterns you think you're going to see. All right, what are some climate patterns you're going to see? Are cities that have, let's say, certain things in common going to have similar climates? Be specific. All right, so let's say one that's kind of obvious that you'll probably all write anyway would be cities with a very high latitude are probably going to be very cold. Okay, that's maybe a little simplistic, but you kind of get the idea. List maybe 2 or 3 things in the then part that you think you're going to see as patterns. All right. Now, previously in this activity, I made people draw their own climatograms, which takes forever, but I mean it's still effective to practice doing it. We don't have time. So, if you look in your file there, there's three built here in the original kind of layout of this, and the rest of the cities you're dealing with, I found online and put in here. Okay, so all the climatograms for all the Canadian cities that we're going to do, okay, are in here. All right, so look at all of them. Okay, there's one for each one. Unfortunately, I couldn't find them all to the same scale. Okay, but you can still read what the scales are and get some idea there. All right, so they are all there. Okay, what you guys are going to be expected to do is this. Okay, use the climate graphs, use the climatograms, and just based on their shape, okay, where their curves are, if they have a curve, okay, how much precipitation they get and when, put cities that you think go together in tentative groups. All right, don't even give those groups a name at this point. Just say like group 1, group 2, group 3, however many you think you're going to need. I think you're going to need at least 4. Okay, I think realistically you could make an argument for 6. Okay, make these groups and put the cities you think have similar climates based on their climatograms together in a group. Everyone follow me so far? Okay, so that's the first step. You and your group sit down, look at all the climatograms, put cities together if you think their climate graphs say they have similar climates. Then you can either use an online atlas or the old-fashioned kind. They open like this. Okay. Yeah. All right. In there, you can find maps of Canada, and you need to look up the locations of these cities. Okay. Look in the map and see, are there any of the factors that we listed that affect climate that are really going to be important for that particular city? Right? So if you don't know that, you know, St. John, Newfoundland is right next to the ocean, you would find that out by looking at a map and go, hey, well, it's right next to the ocean, and proximity to oceans is one of the factors that affects climate. Strange. Okay, so you would maybe look at that and go, all right, St. John's is in a group with these other cities. Are they all cities that are close to the ocean? What other kinds of things do these cities all have in common? So what you might want to do is, when you make your groups, okay, so when you make your groups, like let's just say in group 1 here, I've got Charlotten, and I never spell it right, Charlottetown, PEI, and St. John. Let's just say I put them in the same group because they probably would go in the same group. I would leave enough room to write a short description of each one. Okay, I tentatively think they should go together. Okay, but then I'm going to write, you know, let's say close to ocean. Okay, low altitude. Right. I might even write their latitudes, and I think actually on most of those climatograms the latitude is even listed there. Right. If it isn't, you can look in the atlas and know whether they're the same latitude. Okay, things like that. Right. And then from there, okay, you can see, all right, I said these things had similar climates based on their climatographs, and I'm finding that all of them have similar factors that affect their climate. Okay, that's what we want to find. We want to look for those patterns. Their climatograms are similar, and the place where they are has similar factors in that location. Everyone follow? Okay. Once we've established that, okay, then you can name those groups an appropriate name, like I might call that Atlantic climate, because they're all over there. Okay, and I might give a quick description of, here are the main factors affecting cities in the Atlantic climate region. Proximity to ocean, low altitude, okay, blah, blah, blah. All right? That's what you guys have to do for the procedure and analysis today. Okay? Make those groups up. Give me explanations as to why those things go together. There's 15 marks for your analysis in this. All right? So don't just go, I put them all together because they're near the ocean. Yeah, that's really not going to be something that's going to impress me much. Okay, so make sure you have a little bit more detailed description than that. That's only one factor affecting climate. They better have more in common than one factor. Okay, that's hardly justification for putting them in the same group. Okay, that would be like saying everyone with brown hair acts the same. Okay, it's not true. All right, everyone follow me? Okay, so we want to have that kind of justification. That's what we're looking for in terms of the analysis here. Now, once you've got the cities that we have climatograms for, question number 2 says, here's a few more cities. You don't have to look up climatograms for them, and you don't have them. All you do is look them up on a map and tell me, based on where they are, which group should they go in. So you add them to the groups you already made, okay, and give me a justification as to why. All right, making sense? Okay, so groups based on climate graphs, look up the cities in the atlas, tell me about them, justify why they go in a group together, add the cities in question number 2 to those groups, give me your justification. That's basically your big 15 marks. All right. Then you'll have your conclusion, which basically just says, what are the major factors, okay, affecting climate? Okay, given the cities and groups you made, what factors most affect climate in Canada, and how do they do so? I would say, again, you probably want to have a top 3 factors that seem to affect the most cities. Okay. Questions? All right, have at her then. Okay. If you do want to do this by yourself, you can accomplish that, but it's a lot of your own analyzing and not a lot of ideas being bounced off other people. But it's up to you. One question just came up here, just a matter of terminology. I always use altitude, but to describe how high above sea level something is. But oftentimes in Atlas or online, if you're looking up their altitude, you'll see instead the word elevation. Okay, elevation and altitude mean the same thing. So if you find elevation, that's the altitude.